the Omicron variant is here. 8 more areas added to the red list as health authorities confirm 2 Omicron variant cases in the country. Preparations underway in areas that may be directly hit by Typhoon Odette. And Stephen Curry is recognized as the NBA's best three-point shooter of all time. The Philippines joins the list of dozens of countries to report cases of the heavily mutated and highly transmissible Omicron variant. Health officials say all hands are on deck now in contact tracing, testing, and in ramping up vaccination. More from Caroline Bonkin.
Health and quarantine officials are pressed for time. They're trying to check all possible close contacts of 2 incoming travelers from abroad infected with the highly transmissible Omicron variant and reach them as soon as possible. The health department found the first 2 Omicron cases in the latest genome sequencing. One of them is a 48-year-old returning Filipino from Japan on board Philippine Airlines flight number 0427. He arrived on December 5th and tested positive on December 7. He is currently asymptomatic but initially had coughs and cold upon arrival. The second case is a 37-year-old Nigerian who arrived from Nigeria on November 30 via Oman Air flight number WY843. He also tested positive on December 7th and has no symptoms. Both are in an isolation facility. Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergeres says one of them is fully vaccinated while the other is unvaccinated. Health and quarantine officials are verifying the test results and health status of all their co-passengers and checking if any one of them showed COVID symptoms after arrival. Health officials are again asking those on board these flights to call their hotline.
To do back tracing kung meron yung mga kasama sa eroplano, yung 4x4x4 na mga nakatabi ay dapat ay matukoy. The DOH, the Epidemiology Bureau, the regional surveillance unit officers, the BOQ, the DOTR, they're all on track in doing what needs to be done.
Health Secretary Francisco Duque says Omicron reaching our borders is a cause for alarm but not surprising at all. They've been expecting and preparing for this. The Secretary says what's important at this point is to work double time in contact tracing, boost vaccinations, and prepare hospitals and quarantine facilities. And as one health official said on Monday, hopefully the country will be better in handling Omicron this time compared to when we faced the Delta variant. Caroline Bonkin, CNN Philippines.
The health department reporting 237 new COVID-19 infections today. 100 more people died. 565 have recovered. Active cases dropped to over 10,000, excluding data from 7 laboratories. 8 more areas have been placed in the red list, or countries and territories that are at high risk for COVID-19 infection. Acting presidential spokesperson Carlo Nograles says travelers from Andorra, Monaco, the Northern Mariana Islands, Reunion, and San Marino will be prohibited from entering the Philippines from December 16 to 31. He adds France, South Africa, and Switzerland will remain on the red list until year end. Meanwhile, Health Secretary Francisco Duque says the country will remain under Alert Level 2 for the rest of the year. Alert Level 2 will ensure restrictions are still in place to prevent the spread of Omicron. Now, as Simbang Gabi begins tomorrow, the palace advises churchgoers to observe minimum health protocols. It also suggests to attend virtual masses instead. As we observe the Overseas Filipino Workers Month, returning OFWs decry their poor state in some quarantine facilities in Metro Manila. Almost 2 years since the pandemic began, some think the government is still mismanaging the situation. Our George Gilas has that story.
Jose, an overseas Filipino worker who requested anonymity, is currently quarantined in this cramped hotel room. The space is so small that he is having a hard time opening his large suitcase. While it has its own bathroom, Jose says the hotel has no water supply at times. There are dozens of OFWs who are dealing with similar issues.
Hindi siya conducive for long term, that means 5 to 7 days quarantine without going out, without exercise. Then all you have to do here is stand and then lie down to sleep. Yun lang magagawa mo dito.
With the influx of returning OFWs this holiday season, Jose thinks the government is mismanaging the situation, and OFWs are the ones getting the short end of the stick.
They should experience it by themselves para makita nila yung katotohanan ng reklamo namin.
Acknowledging the lack of quarantine facilities, the government says it will reopen quarantine facilities for OFWs in nearby regions of Metro Manila.
We have the peripheral isolation and quarantine facilities in 4A and also in Region 3. So we are now expanding the use of what used to be empty TTMFs. We are in constant communication with OWA.
The government has also shortened the quarantine period for vaccinated OFWs coming from countries in the green list. While they're still required to undergo facility-based quarantine, their RT-PCR test will be carried out on the third day. They will be allowed to go home if they test negative, but they need to continue their quarantine at home until they finish the 10-day period.
Mas mabilis na yung magiging turnover ng incoming and outgoing sa mga facilities without sacrificing yung health and safety ng lahat.
As far as complaints about quarantine facilities are concerned, Malacanang says the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration or OWA has promised to fix the issues. CNN Philippines tried to reach OWA but it has yet to respond to our request for interview. George Cahiles, CNN Philippines.
The second round of the national vaccination drive kicked off in Nueva Ecija today. The full story from Tristan Nodalo.
The government is optimistic that it will meet its target to vaccinate 7 million Filipinos in its second Bayanihan Bakunahan drive nationwide. This amid the challenges brought by Typhoon Odette and amid hesitancy and vaccine preference among Filipinos. Officials of the National Task Force Against COVID-19 check on the mass vaccination drive in Cabanatuan City in Nueva Ecija. The local government targets to inoculate 20,000 people within 3 days in 15 vaccination centers. Health officials say vaccine hesitancy and brand preference remain as challenges. A little over half of the city's 235,000 eligible population have completed 2 doses. People came in trickles in one of the vaccination sites in Cabanatuan, but Health Secretary Francisco Duque remains hopeful that more people will get the shot.
We cannot stop. The demand generation is very, very important. And I think they're very innovative. The LGU, I think, will already embark on a house-to-house vaccination, especially of the elderly, the most vulnerable sector.
As vaccine stock increases, Vaccinsar Carlito Galvez is shifting focus in making sure supply is properly managed. The concern is now on having enough storage facility and avoid wastage.
Ang dami na dumadating na bakuna, talagang iniiwasan namin talaga yung tinatawag natin na wastage. That's why ang ginagawa natin is we are requesting na yung dadating dito, higher ang tinatawag natin na yung higher months or tinatawag nating mas longer ang kanyang shelf life. Katulad ng Janssen na dumating ngayon, ang shelf life niya is 2003 pa. Yung strategy natin na first in, first out, kung sino yung unang dumating at saka una yung expiry date, yun ang una muna natin inuubos.
Vaccinsar Carlito Galvez says that there is a contingency plan in areas that may be on path of Typhoon Odette. He says there should be enough power generators and safe storage facilities in order to protect the COVID-19 vaccines. In Cabanatuan City, Tristan Nodalo, CNN Philippines.
Coming up on Newsnight, Typhoon Odette moves closer to land. We give you the latest on its track and the areas under storm signals. Plus, groups collect thousands of signatures supporting a motion to remove Bongbong Marcos from the 2022 presidential race. More when we return.
Oh, anyari sa'yo? Ba't nakasimangot ka? Alam ko na. Masakit ang katawan mo, ano? Sa sobrang trabaho? O di kaya masakit ang ulo sa sobrang stress? Break ka muna. Hinga ng malalim at imasahe ang ulo mo gamit ang Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Ako rin ganun eh. Kaya pag mataas ang tensyon sa trabaho, mag-Herbalaya break ka muna.
Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Amoy na kaaya-aya. Sa bawat pahid ay ginhawa.
Sarap na hatid ng Pure Foods Noche Buena. Sa Paskong Pure Foods. Sarap na dala ng pamilyang bumubuo sa Pasko. Buo ang Pasko sa Paskong Pure Foods.
Wala kayo sa tatay ko. Kinuwang libre ang pag-aaral ko sa kolehiyo.
Ang tatay ko, namigay ng libreng irigasyon.
Wala sa tatay ko. Mga tulay, kalsada at infrastruktura. Yun ang pinagawa nun.
Ang tatay ko, sinagot ang ospital at pagpagamot ko.
Sino yung tatay ko?
Yung tatay ko?
Yung tatay ko?
Ang tatay ko?
Si Tatay Digong?
Si Tatay Digong? Si Tatay Digong?
Si Tatay Digong?
Siya ang tatay ko.
Mabuhay ang malayang Pilipinas.
Love is all about time. Di minamadali ang pagpapasarap. Like the love in every Pure Foods ready to eat. Slow cooked and ready in 8 minutes. Para may time ka sa mga mahal mo. Because love takes time.
Sa pagbangon ng mga Pilipino, saludo ako sa mga taong patuloy na humaharap sa hamon ng pagbabago.
Bilang isang ina, handa akong gawin ang lahat para sa kaligtasan ng aking mga anak.
Pandemya man, tuloy pa rin ang serbisyo para malinis ang kapaligiran.
Serbisyong publiko para sa kaligtasan ng lahat.
Sa panahon ng krisis, ikaw, ako, magtulungan tayo. Saludo ako sa Pilipino.
Enjoy the #1 pinakamasarap na Pure Foods Tender Juicy ngayong Pasko. Kasama ang sarap ng pamilya.
We are a direct selling company and our vision is sharing prosperity globally through entrepreneurship. We have done great sharing prosperity in the Philippines. We have conquered the pandemic. Every year we have grown our business and we're excited to venture outside of the Philippines starting next year. When the first lockdown was announced, we were affected also. We have a lot of people dependent on us on the business that they have in iFern, and we needed to find a way to conquer. We needed to shift what we were doing offline online. So we were able to continue. The creature that will survive is not the strongest, it's the most adaptable, and we were able to adapt as a company.
The winner in the vitamins and supplements category is Fern D.
We're so happy to receive our 3rd World Branding Award in a row. We're fortunate that our world-class vitamin D, Fern D, is being promoted by World Health Organization. During the awarding, we are fortunate to know that we're the only vitamins that was awarded.
iFern Corporation from the Philippines. Congratulations to all.
Maraming kumpanya nahirapan, They had difficulty during the pandemic, and there are companies that were able to inspire. And we're fortunate that our growth has been recognized, and we are the only awardee for growth from the Philippines. My big crazy dream is for iFern to be the first globally known Filipino brand. That's the company that grows successful entrepreneurs. My hope is for other entrepreneurs to be inspired by what we have done. Kung kaya namin gawin, kaya nyo rin. If an ordinary Filipino company like iFern can do it, you can do it also. Small investment, unlimited returns, that's what we promise. And all of our products are world-class and affordable. And according to my AIM professor, that's a deadly combination. And that's why we were able to beat the pandemic.
Sa 2021!
Sa iFern tayo yayaman!
Thank you!
Welcome back to Newsnight. A check on the weather now. More areas under signal number 2 as Typhoon Odette further intensifies. The Weather Bureau Pag-asa says Odette was last spotted nearly 500 kilometers east of Hinatuan in Surigao del Sur. It'll continue to gain strength tonight until tomorrow, when it is expected to hit land in Caraga or eastern Visayas in the afternoon or evening. The typhoon will then cross over a number of provinces in central and western Visayas. Signal number 2 up over southern portions of eastern Samar, southern Leyte, central and southern parts of Leyte, as well as the Camiguin and the Surigao and Agusan provinces. Damaging winds and heavy rains expected there in the next 24 hours. Meanwhile, signal number 1 raised in over 35 areas. These include Catanduanes, Camarines Sur, Albay, Sorsogon, and portions of the Mindoro provinces. Same goes for Cebu, the Negros provinces, Iloilo, Antique, Capiz, and Aklan. In Mindanao, parts of Davao, Bukidnon, and the Lanao and Zamboanga provinces are under signal number 1. Local governments, meantime, in Odette's path preparing for its impact. Tacloban City in Leyte is suspending work in government offices today. People in low-lying and coastal areas also ordered to evacuate. Work and classes for public and private sectors suspended tomorrow in Samar, eastern and northern Samar, and southern Leyte, and until Friday in Giwan and Giporlos towns in eastern Samar. Local governments preparing food packs. The Western Visayas Coast Guard canceling all trips from the Iloilo, Bacolod, and Guimaras ports this morning. Officials appeal to fishermen not to go out to sea as the typhoon nears. In Valencia City, Bukidnon, evacuation plans in place for people living in high-risk areas as well as rescue equipment. Philippine Airlines canceling some domestic and international flights because of Odette. Among the affected trips tomorrow, Manila to Butuan, Tacloban, and Siargao, and vice versa, as well as Cagayan de Oro and Davao to Cebu. PAL San Francisco to Manila flight also canceled. Civil society groups submit to the Commission on Elections a letter with over 15,000 signatures supporting the first of multiple petitions to cancel Bongbong Marcos's presidential bid. These signatures were gathered through change.org. Meanwhile, the COMELEC raffled off 166 slots in the 2022 ballot to determine the order of listing for party list names. The official list of 2022 candidates was not released today as initially scheduled. COMELEC says it still has to resolve some cases against nuisance bets. We have more stories ahead. In sports, Golden State's Warrior Stephen Curry has just become the greatest three-point shooter in NBA history. Details next. Stay tuned.
Sa'yo, ba't nakasimangot ka? Alam ko na, masakit ang katawan mo ano? Sa sobrang trabaho? O di kaya masakit ang ulo sa sobrang stress? Break ka muna. Hinga ng malalim at imasahe ang ulo mo gamit ang Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Ako rin ganun eh. Kaya pag mataas ang tensyon sa trabaho, mag-Herbalaya break ka muna.
Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Amoy na kaaya-aya. Sa bawat pahid ay ginhawa.
It's 3 coffee mix to ignite my day. Hi guys! Lagi akong focused, active, at am extraordinary. Because the most important things in life deserve nothing less. MX3 Coffee Mix, my choice.
Sang-ayon ba ang lahat na ang best tasting chicken daw kay TJ rin? Walang duda na ang tender, ang juicy, best tasting chicken hotdog talaga. Chicken ang desisyon. Kids can tell, best tasting ang TJ Chicken Dog.
Pangarap ng bawat Pilipino, hangarin ng Northern Cement.
Ahon, bangon, sulong!
Pinalaki ng Northern Cement ang kapasidad ng kanilang planta para steady ang supply ng sementong tigasin. Northern Cement Max Plus, Supreme at Max Pro.
Ahon, bangon, sulong!
Kidimiti sarap ng Pure Foods ready-to-eat spaghetti. Easy to prepare even for kids. Ngayong Pasko, kasama ang sarap ng pamilya.
Ang tatay ko, ginawang ligtas, panatag at maayos ang buong bayan.
Wala yan sa tatay ko. Ibinalik ang ganda ng Boracay.
Mas magaling yung tatay ko. Nakamit niya ang kapayapaan sa Mindanao.
Ang tatay ko sinagot ang ospital at pagpagamot ko.
Sino yung tatay ko?
Ang tatay ko.
Tatay ko.
Ang tatay ko,
Si Tatay Digong?
Si Tatay Digong.
Si Tatay Digong.
Si Tatay Digong.
Siya ang tatay ko.
Taas noo nating pagmalaki tayo ay Pilipino.
Bawat patak, may sarap, may lakas, sulit. Red Horse Beer.
In Bulacan, residents enjoy easier access to the kind of water we all deserve. This is thanks to SMC Infrastructure's Bulacan Bulk Water Supply System project, a treatment facility that provides affordable and potable bulk water to the 24 municipalities of Bulacan. It produces an average volume of 160 million liters per day for around 165,000 households. It also has a maximum capacity of 388 million liters per day. This meets the increasing water demand of Bulaqueños. The project also cuts down the use of deep wells, helping mitigate the environmental impact of excessive groundwater extraction. The Bulacan Bulk Water Supply System project provides Bulaqueños the affordable and reliable potable water supply they need.
Stephen Curry's new record-breaking feat puts him alongside the NBA great Steph Curry, surpassed Ray Allen for most career triples made after making his 2,974 three-pointer. Allen posted about passing the torch to the Warriors' sharpshooting guard, congratulating him on the achievement. Curry managed to set the record in just 789 games, 511 less than it took Allen. And back here at home, basketball fans get to see their first PBA game in person after almost 2 years. Pauline Versosa tells us more.
It's a festive welcome for the PBA and its fans here at the Big Dome as they finally make their return after nearly 2 years. Now, this reunion of sorts is courtesy of the Quezon City local government, provided that strict health protocols will be observed. Only fully vaccinated fans aged 12 and above will be permitted. Upon entry, they must present their vaccination cards together with a government-issued ID and QC pass. Inside the venue, fans must still wear face masks at all times, while eating is allowed only at the venue's concessionaires. Now, it was way back in March 2020 when fans last saw their favorite players live in action, and now they can finally see their idols like Paul Lee, Calvin Abueva, and Jason Castro up close.
Sobrang excited po, ma'am. Galing po ako ng Cavite. Pumunta pa po ako dito para manood. Ang feelings, ma'am, kasi excited. Alas 10 pala nandito na ako, ma'am. Nag-aabang na po ako para bumili ng ticket.
Excited na excited po kasi po first time po namin manonood ngayon
Medyo hindi na rin po nakaka-excite na nasa TV lang. Mas maganda talaga yung nasa live, lalo na yung mga hiyawan ng mga tao.
The arena management is limiting the crowd to 4,000 out of a seating capacity of 16,000. As a Christmas tree, the PBA is also cutting ticket prices by almost half. Fans grabbing this opportunity bought tickets ahead of this week's games.
Susulitin nyo lang po kasi ito, expand ako eh. Mas maganda, nagbaba para hindi naman agad-agad eh.
The PBA also gets a green light to hold games with live fans at the Mall of Asia Arena in Pasay City. But due to the venue's packed schedule, the league eyes to make its return in the arena in January. Pauline Verzosa, CNN Philippines.
If you're looking to start the new year with new appliances more than the price, you should also check the energy labels. The DOE's energy labeling program can help you choose energy-efficient appliances that are sure to help you save more in the long run. That's coming your way shortly. It is 10 days before Christmas. That is it for tonight. Join me again on News.ph at 7 p.m. I'm Pia Ontiveros for Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines.
Ang main role talaga ng energy labeling program is informing our consumers to make decisions on purchase based on what is best for them. Hanapin lang po natin yung ating energy label at tignan, mas mataas ang numero, mas madaming star, mas matipid ang ating kinukuhang appliance. Ang ating Philippine Energy Labeling Program ay yung ating mandatory program para dun sa ating mga energy consuming products kagaya ng refrigerator, air conditioners, television sets at saka yung ating ilaw or various lighting products na nag-guide po ito. Ito po ay sticker na inilalagay sa mga produktong ito na naglalaman po ng impormasyon sa kanya pong energy efficiency rating at kung ano po ang magiging konsumo nito kung atin po siyang pipiliin.
Implementation of PLP will have an impact on the way we will introduce our products. We need to ensure that the models we will introduce to the market should have high energy efficiency so as to be a step ahead of the competition. Giving the customers a product which consumes lesser electricity will certainly lower their monthly electricity bill, and as a whole will lessen the energy utilization of the country.
The best results are achieved if a company aims to get certified in ISO 50001. If you are certified in ISO 50001, you already comply with the law, Republic Act 11285. There is a big opportunity to achieve huge amount of energy savings and it is sustainable.
One key note on ISO 14001 and similar framework program is a holistic approach focusing not just on the technology but also incorporating industry, personnel, management, and support of the whole personnel in the designated establishment's facility.
The Philippine Green Building Council was formed in 2007 with 3 specific mandates: rate, educate, and advocate. We actually promote education on green building to the property sector. We actually work with the shaping of policies to support green building and energy efficiency. And we have actually instituted a program called the Verde Program, which seeks to certify projects that are performed environmentally well.
The approach of Ayala Land, because it's very hard to retrofit, is actually, we call that energy management life cycle approach. It provides moral boosting na even the Philippines can really execute a global level energy efficiency best practices.
Everyone is going for health and wellness and everyone is going for sustainability. I think it's a two-way thing. No? We were learning from DOE, but at the same time, they were learning from us as well. And with both combined experiences, that's why we were able to achieve this goal.
Sa'yo, ba't nakasimangot ka? Alam ko na, masakit ang katawan mo, ano? Sa sobrang trabaho? O di kaya masakit ang ulo sa sobrang stress. Break ka muna. Hinga ng malalim at imasahe ang ulo mo gamit ang Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Ako rin ganun eh. Kaya pag mataas ang tensyon sa trabaho, mag-Herbalaya break ka muna.
Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Amoy na kaaya-aya. Sa bawat pahid ay ginhawa.
Ringo Honasan po. Sa pagbangon ng mga Pilipino, saludo ako sa mga taong patuloy na humaharap sa hamon ng pagbabago.
Bilang isang ina, handa akong gawin ang lahat para sa kaligtasan ng aking mga anak.
Pandemya man, tuloy pa rin ang serbisyo para malinis ang kapaligiran.
Serbisyong publiko para sa kaligtasan ng lahat.
Sa panahon ng krisis, ikaw, ako, magtulungan tayo. Ringo Honasan po. Saludo ako sa Pilipino.
Pinas.
Around 15 million people worldwide suffer from stroke each year. Some of the more common risk factors are diabetes, high blood pressure,